My hands shook as I set the last plate on the table for my 70th birthday lunch. Emily leaned close, her breath warm against my ear, and whispered, while I distract her, grab the folder from Mom's office. She thought I didn't hear the rest, the part about the house, the deed, the plan to sign everything over to her and Jake before I lost my mind. But I heard. I heard because I built every inch of that office with my own widowed hands. And I never forget. The dining room smelled of rosemary chicken and the lavender candles I'd lit at dawn, the way I always do when the house feels too quiet. Snow tapped the windows like hesitant fingers. Sarah, my youngest, the one who still texts "love you" with emojis, sat across from me, smiling too wide. Jake, Emily's husband, kept checking his phone under the table. The grandchildren chased each other around the legs of the oak table I refinished the year Emily started kindergarten. 70 candles flickered. I blew them out alone. No one leaned in to help. The smoke curled like a question mark. I passed the mashed potatoes. My mother's china clinked softly, the same set I'd washed by hand every Sunday after church for 40 years. Emily spooned gravy, talking about the new spa membership she deserved after her promotion. Sarah nodded, eyes bright with the same hunger I once mistook for ambition. Jake mentioned the roof needed replacing again. I smiled the way grandmothers do, and said, "Eat your greens, darling," to little Mia, who still believed I hung the moon. That night, after the dishes were done and the leftovers wrapped in foil that crinkled like old promises, I sat in the dark kitchen with only the hum of the refrigerator for company. The house settled around me, beams creaking the way they have since 1987, the year I carried the last nail in my apron pocket and hammered the final shingle myself. My husband Tom had died 2 winters earlier. The bank wanted the mortgage. The kids were 8, 10, and 12. I learned drywall before I learned how to sleep alone. I remember the mornings I left for the factory at 5, boots crunching salt on the porch, lunch pail swinging. The smell of metal and coffee clung to my coat. I came home to 3 hungry mouths and a stack of bills. Emily wanted ballet slippers. Sarah needed braces. Michael begged for a bike with gears. I said yes to all of it. I said yes until my voice cracked and my savings bled dry. I said yes when Tom's life insurance barely covered the funeral, when the roof leaked over the crib, when the car coughed its last breath in the grocery parking lot. Yes, yes, yes. Tomorrow I'll rest. Tomorrow never came, flashback to Emily's wedding. I wore the navy dress I'd sewn from clearance fabric, pearls Tom gave me on our 20th. She cried in the bridal suite because the florist shorted her peonies. I handed over the emergency credit card without a word. Jake's parents flew first class. I took the Greyhound. At the reception, Emily hugged me quick, lipstick on my cheek like a brand. "Thanks, Mom. You're the best." Then she floated to the dance floor and never looked back. I ate cake alone at a table marked family, Sarah's college graduation. I drove 6 hours with a cooler of fried chicken because dining hall food tasted like cardboard. She accepted the envelope, $5,000, every overtime penny from double shifts, and said, "Cool, thanks." No hug, no photo. Just a wave as she disappeared into a crowd of friends who called her dude. Michael stopped calling after he moved to Denver. Once a year, a text. "Need a little help with rent." I wired it. He never asked about my arthritis, the way stairs bite my knees now, the nights I wake gasping because the silence is louder than sirens. Back to the birthday lunch. Emily's whisper looped in my head like a scratched record. While I distract her. Me? The woman who changed her diapers, who sat up with fevers, who sold her own mother's ring to pay for Jake's DUI lawyer. I stared at the folder on the counter, the one they wanted. Inside, the deed, the trust, the life insurance beneficiary forms. My handwriting, faded but steady, named all 3 children equal heirs. I'd updated it every decade, always believing fairness would keep us tethered. I poured tea that night, chamomile from the garden I still weed on my knees. Steam rose like ghosts. The kettle whistled, then sighed. I opened the folder. The paper felt cool, almost damp. I thought of the oak tree out back, the one Tom and I planted the day we moved in. Its roots cracked the sidewalk years ago. The city wanted it cut. I paid the fine instead. Roots don't apologize for growing. Next morning, I called Mr. Lang, the lawyer who drafted my will when Nixon was president. His voice crackled like onion skin. "Ruth, you sure?" I was. I drove downtown in the old Buick that still smells of Tom's cigarettes. Snow turned to slush under the tires. In his office, lined with leather books and the faint scent of cigars, I signed new papers. The house, the savings, the investments, everything now funneled into a trust for the grandchildren's education, managed by a neutral bank. My children would receive a letter explaining the annual allowance had ended. The house would stay mine until I died, then sell, proceeds to the kids' college funds. No loans, no advances. No more, Emily noticed first. She called Thursday, voice syrupy. Mom, the folder's gone. Did you move it? I folded laundry in the basement, the dryer thumping like a heartbeat. What folder, dear? She laughed, nervous. The one with the deed. Jake needs to look at something for taxes. I matched socks, little ones with dinosaurs, big ones with holes in the heel. Taxes are in April, Emily. Silence, then a click. Sarah showed up Saturday with coffee and crocodile tears. Mom, we're worried. You've been forgetful. She touched the necklace, my mother's pearls, now clasped around my own neck again. Maybe it's time to think about assisted living. For your safety. I sipped the coffee. It was cold. I built this house with my own hands, Sarah. I think I can manage the thermostat. Her smile froze. Jake paced the porch, phone to his ear, yelling about elder abuse to someone who wasn't listening. Sunday, they all came. Michael flew in, tie askew, eyes red from the red eye. They filled my living room like a tribunal. Emily held the grandchildren like shields. Mom, this is an intervention. I sat in Tom's old recliner, the one with the duct tape arm. The room smelled of their cologne and my lemon polish. Michael spoke first. You're cutting us off? After everything we've been through? I looked at the family photos on the mantel, smiles frozen in Kodak color. Everything you've been through? My voice didn't shake. Try 40 years of double shifts. Try burying your father alone. Try selling your wedding china to pay for ballet slippers that got outgrown in a season, Emily cried. Real tears or not, I couldn't tell anymore. We just want what's best, Jake muttered about lawyers. Sarah whispered, You're being selfish. I stood, slowly. My knees popped like kindling. Selfish is plotting to steal a house from a woman while she cuts your birthday cake. The room went still. Even the clock stopped ticking. I walked to the door, opened it. Snow had started again, fat flakes drifting like apologies. The locks change tomorrow. The trust is ironclad. You'll get the letters. Until then, goodbye. Michael reached for me. Mom. I looked at his hand, the one I'd bandaged 100 times. Don't. He dropped it. They left in a flurry of coats and accusations. The door shut. The house exhaled. That night, I baked apple pie, crust flaky the way Tom liked. I ate one slice at the kitchen table, fork scraping china. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was mine. I hung new curtains, heavy linen the color of storm clouds. I planted tulips along the walk, bulbs cold and promising in my palm. I joined the senior hiking group. My boots left prints in fresh mud. I laughed at jokes I finally had time to hear. Spring came early. The oak tree budded. I sat on the porch with coffee, watching sunrise paint the sky, peach and gold. The folder, the old one, sat shredded in the recycling, paper curls like confetti. A new folder waited in the safe. My passport, a train ticket to Savannah, a reservation at a bed and breakfast with ocean views. 70 is not the end. It's the first page of a book I get to write alone. To every grandmother wiping counters at midnight, folding tiny socks, wiring money you can't spare, listen. Your love is not a blank check. Your sacrifice does not buy obedience. The house you built with splinters under your nails is yours to defend. Close the door when they forget the key is earned, not inherited. Let the snow fall. Let the tulips push through frost. Let tomorrow come finally on your terms. I am Ruth Margaret Callahan, widow, mother, builder, keeper of my own hearth. And I have never felt more alive.